What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Austin and this is a Mahoney Media production. Almost a month ago I brought home a new project car, and the Veloster, she didn't like that, so she decided she didn't need her slave cylinder anymore. About the last month I have been dealing with getting the transmission dropped. I followed a video online by KDM Tuners from Josh. I decided not to make my own because his was very informative. There's a few things I would add to his video. One being, when removing the transmission, there's going to be a transmission plate that aligns the transmission to the engine. In my situation, the plate was stuck to the engine and not to the transmission, and the only gap was between the plate and the transmission, so I assumed the plate was attached to the engine side of the vehicle, which I was mistaken and ended up breaking the plate, prying it off. I am making this video to add into how to change out your slave cylinder and how not to break that plate. That transmission plate was an additional $80 I had to spend. Not a huge deal, and it wouldn't be a home repair unless you break something simple like that. Second, to mention the gentleman who's been sending me my parts. His name is Hwang. He deals mostly in OEM Hyundai and Kia parts. He gives you the parts at a great price, and the shipping is very fast. Quality is awesome. Price is even better. His name is Hwang. I'll link his name and Facebook in the description. Great guy, very reputable. If you need parts, OEM parts for Hyundai and Kia, message Albert. He'll get some information from you, and then he'll send them directly to you at a very great price. So, Albert Hwang, thank you, and appreciate your continued support on my projects. Alright guys, so this is the plate I am referring to. It has one screw at this location holding it in. In my situation, the gap was forming on the transmission side of this plate, which made me assume that it was attached to the engine side and not to the transmission, which I was wrong. So just when you're removing this, be careful that you're prying on the engine side of the plate and not the transmission side. Just grab the flashlight so we can see what we're doing. So there's only 3 bolts holding the slave into the transmission. You see the outlet there. The slave has definitely seen some better days, so I'll be removing that. Before I remove that though, I'm going to spray the transmission side out with some engine degreaser and then some brake parts cleaner to make sure it's nice and clean. Make sure that leak didn't cause any excess grease in there, and that might get on my clutch. So take it out, spray it, and then remove it. Brought it out here into my backyard because I have a small garage. Don't want to spray this in a tight enclosed space, so I'm going to be starting with some engine degreaser. I'm just going to spray the entire outside and then the inside as well. This will loosen up all that grease and grime. Try not to get any in your differential. It's looking a lot better already. We'll hit it with just some standard brake cleaner now. After a couple cans of engine degreaser and brake parts cleaner, I was able to get the transmission looking a whole lot better. Just a little scrubbing with the shop towels and she's good as new. I had to lay down the transmission to get the bolts broken loose. I'm going to get them removed, remove the old one, compare it to the new one, and get the new one installed, and then tighten them back down. When removing the slave cylinder, make sure that you're just careful, lift it up and over the spline, and then pull it out. This is the new slave cylinder in comparison to the old slave cylinder. There's a huge difference. The old slave cylinder has definitely failed. Now to install the new slave cylinder and put things back together. To install the new slave cylinder, just reverse your steps, put it out the outlet hole and install it over the spline. I use some red thread locker to make sure the bolts stay in the transmission and don't fall out and cause any damage inside the transmission. Then I torque the bolts down to 19 foot-pounds as per the manual to manhandle it back into the car myself and get things bolted back up. But first I have to install the new plate onto the transmission before installing it into the vehicle. Just twist the bolt down, the one bolt hold. Alright guys, took me a couple hours and a lot of frustration, but I was able to get that transmission bolted back on, as well as the mounts, the upper and the dog bone, torqued down to the specifications as well. Both axles put back in, axle nuts tightened down, all mounts are installed. The only thing missing is the battery, ECU, and air intake. I'm going to add the fluid now to the transmission. Get the line hooked back up, start bleeding the brake fluid into the system, and put everything back together. To add the fluid to the transmission, you're going to want to remove this bolt here. It's a 17. Then you'll fill the transmission in through this hole. Just fill it until it overflows out of the hole. Then put the bolt back in and tighten her down. You want to have a bucket or something underneath it in case it drains out. Also, when you're filling it, it will leak out, so you want to have something underneath it to catch it when it's full. It's supposed to take 2 quarts, but we'll see. I bought 3 just in case. You'll want to do the same. Alright, that's a good sign that she is now full. Alright, everything is put back in. Batteries hooked back up, air intakes on, all hoses, clamps, clips, and plugs all put back on. Now I would like to take the time to tell everybody to check your oil catch cans. This is just your friendly reminder. Oil catch cans, they fill up. Catch can 1 does not have a lot of catch, but this one's off the PCV line, so it's about what you'd expect. Haven't driven it a lot this winter or the summer, so haven't collected a lot. This one's off the air intake line. I honestly haven't emptied this out since I put these on about 10,000 miles ago. Can't expect a whole lot off of this line, but it gives you something. For too long, so I put a trickle charger on it. Now that it's sat overnight and charged, I'm going to see if it'll start and get pulled out of the garage. Guys, I had no problems on the test drive, no leaks, everything was normal. I do have one of my brake shims that's grinding against my rotor, so just got to take that tire off and adjust that one, but other than that, she's back up and running, no problem. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow me for more, and thank you for watching. I appreciate it.